Welcome to another segment of Financially Speaking. I'm your host, Drexwell Seymour. And, we're already more than halfway through September. Can you believe it? Time is surely going fast. I mean, soon or later, or sooner than later, we'll be in 2024. With all things, we give God thanks for bringing us this far. And I'm going to get right into the show. We have a special guest. I promised this gentleman, because he was the only one that called in when I had the call-in opportunity, and he called in. And so I promised him that I'll give him an opportunity to be in the studio sometime in September. And so today we have this gentleman here, the Honorable Edwin Astwood, the leader of the opposition and the leader of the People's Democratic Movement, the PDM party. And with that said, I want to welcome Honorable Astwood to Financially Speaking. This is probably his third time on the show. He is in the Grand Turk studio, and of course, I am here in Provo. So please let everyone know that Financially Speaking is on. We may not be on Facebook Live, but later you'll see us on Facebook. But in the meantime, you can listen to us on the radio. So with that said, I want to welcome Honorable Astwood to the show.
Yes, good morning, Brother Seymour, and good morning to all your listeners out there. It's happy to always be in conversations with you, especially on this show, Financially Speaking, and over the People's Radio Station. I think it works well here in the studio in Grand Turk, and the staff here is taking good care of me. All is well on my side, and hope that all is well on your side.
Yes, all is well. I always tell people, I'm Drexwell. Drex is always well.
Yes, sir. And just to let the listeners know, I didn't ask you what was the topics, what you wanted to talk about. Didn't ask for any questions, so I didn't even know what is the topics. But like I said in the House of Assembly the other day, Boy Scout must always be prepared. So
absolutely,
I want them to know I didn't ask you even so for the topic.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Especially you want to be the next premier. You have to be prepared all times.
Always.
All right. So, like for me, as an outsider, I mean, how long have you been in politics? When was your first time in political office?
It was formally in 2012, but 2010 to 2000, that date, I was at the governor's office. That's during the interim administration when I was the deputy PS and then acting PS under the late Kingsley Bain, who was the PS of the governor's office. And really at that time,
deputy PS.
Yes, and really at that time, my taste really got wet for politics, dealing with all things government at that time, because a lot of things would pass through the office there that we had to deal with, on behalf of TCIG. So in the office at that time, you had the FCO part and you have the TCIG part of the governor's office. That was during Gordon Vetterell and Rick Todd.
Yes. And then in 2012, you ran as a candidate for the constituency that you now represent.
Yes. So it's more than 3 terms, and I'm already 50, and so it's nothing about pension or anything.
Because I believe you.
I could have cut from the time go around, it was 2 terms, so.
Yeah. I don't believe that everybody's running for pension.
Yes.
I believe some people really care on both sides, PNP and PDM, that really want to make a difference. Of course, they don't mind the pension, but I do believe that people run hoping to make a difference. But unfortunately, when they get in power, they realize it's not how they think it is.
Yes, exactly.
And tell us, you were the Minister of Health.
Yes.
2016 to 2020.
Yes.
You were the Minister of Health. Tell us your experience as the Minister of Health and some of the things that you have done during your tenure as the Minister of Health.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, my experience was when I saw the limitations and the relationship in cabinet At that time, I make no secret of it, we had a governor who I believe was just fully against politicians.
Mm-hmm.
I made that I don't mince that words.
What was his name?
That was John Freeman, Governor Freeman. And even inside of cabinet, I felt like it was always them against us. The technocrats.
And who's them? Because the governor is one person.
The technocrats of the government against the elected branch of the government. And that's how I felt in cabinet straight through.
Mm-hmm.
With debates, I never felt like everything we were trying to achieve one mission. Now, with the next governor, Governor Decken, he made it a little bit different. I saw the difference. Yes, I felt that we were on one team at that time.
That's good to hear.
Yes, but with Freeman, it felt like them versus us.
Mm-hmm. And that must have been very tough,
yes.
Being an elected member, being in cabinet, promising the people this and that, and when you get to cabinet, you cannot get what you really wanted.
Yes, and that is the thing, and we had to learn ways of how you do things, because at that time, it always were, well, you cannot do this cannot be done. But nobody would say, well, if you want to do this is the legal way how you can achieve your mandate for your people. So that is one of the big difference, I think, as politicians, we need to hear that, okay, if you want to achieve this, if you want to build this, if you want to bring in this policy, this is how you do it. But how you're proposing, it cannot happen. Yes.
I see.
And
okay.
No, and to go on with your question, coming into the Ministry of Health, of course, I saw the things with NHIP, treatment abroad, the hospital deal, which I still have a problem with today. And, that is when we start the arbitration. We wanted, certain people would come forward,
I thought the arbitration started before then.
No. The arbitration didn't start before then.
All right.
I can remember all the meetings, and they asked me if I'm sure this is the way that we want to go with the government, and meeting with the lawyers in my office, the law firm there, they coming down, meeting and talking about the carrot and the stick and all the ways forward, and we decided, yes, we want to proceed. We want to try and get out of this contract as it stands. So I had been in all the meetings and can challenge anyone who can say anything to the contrary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so moving on, that is one of the things that I did, agriculture, the agriculture policy, which gives the farmers grants. And so, that is something that I brought in. Mm-hmm. There was some work done before. There were some attempts before by the former government, the Rufus Ewing administration. So, we saw what they were trying to do and enhance that and bring it forward. We saw some work that was done before, because I always say, you cannot just, if something is good that the previous government did, you just see how you can change it, how you can modify it, how you can enhance it. You don't have to throw it all away. Mm-hmm. So that agriculture policy, some of the works was done before. It wasn't quite a policy, and we got it out. Farmers grants, and at that time we wanted to take the 104 acres down in Kew and divide it up into half an acre.
Is that where the governor's farm is?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It was 104 acres.
It's close to 100 and something. Yes. Mm-hmm. And divide it up and to give to people, and trust to people. So if you want to do bananas, okay, we have half an acre. We have 2 acres here for you to do bananas. If you want to do tomatoes, you have half an acre here, and lease it out to the people, not for them to build homes or to transfer or to sell, but lease it out for farming. And the same thing we wanted to do in the Salt Islands. We wanted to look at the container farms, hydroponics, and all that in the Salt Islands. So agriculture, all the eat what you grow what you eat promotions, giving away plants. I did that in terms of agriculture. In terms of sports, first thing that we did, we went and get sports equipment for every school in the Turks and Caicos Islands in some 15 different disciplines. I still have the pictures up on my Facebook. Anybody want to see that? The first time ever we had sports equipment given at that magnitude for every government school. Mm-hmm. And also we brought back the national championships. And before, you would have for the basketball and softball, you'll just have one championship and one island, whether it's Provo or Grand Turk. But we said, no, the school children, the fans, they want to see it. So let's have like a almost tournament that each island would get a couple of games. So we changed it, along with the team. That's something that we put in, that now you'll have a couple of games of the basketball in Grand Turk, South Caicos, North Caicos. North Caicos never saw that action before. So all those things I changed. Given the sports policy, giving the athletes their grants, professional athletes are, people who performing professionally, they can get some kind of grants from the government to help with their nutrition, their training, and that is something that we want to continue increasing. Putting the lights on all the parks, dusk to dawn lights.
Right.
Redoing all the stadiums, all the basketball courts. Mm-hmm. So there was a number of things that we did in terms of sports. Just about everything that you see, now the High Performance Sports Center buying back the National Stadium. The National Stadium was called the National Stadium, but it was owned by...
It was on lease, yeah.
Yes, by others. So we bought that, so that is the People's Stadium. And we did that...
bought a lot of stuff when I was in power.
And we did that after 2 hurricanes, where we had to repair the whole country. And people tend to forget that. Irma and Maria destroyed the whole country, 2 category 4 or 5 in the same week. And we had to do all those repairs when we were doing that. So we had 1 year of calm from 1919 to 1920. And then 2020, it was...
2019, you mean? 2019.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, don't go back that long.
Yes. Yes, 1919, 1920, that's the Spanish flu area. So that,
okay.
Yeah, that's why that time was in my head.
Yeah,
2019, 2020 was the COVID-19.
Yes, I understand, Honorable.
Yes, so we had just a few months to repair, and once we repaired from the hurricanes, we had that disaster, and, we had to do everything from develop the infrastructure here, doctors, oxygen, testing, meetings all day, every day for cabinet, During that time, we would start meetings at about 6 o'clock in the morning and finish cabinet at 9 o'clock in the night, updating, and every time in the meetings that we finish early, 10, 12, I would have to break, Honorable, we will release you, go and do your press conference, answer, talk to the people, then come back in meetings.
But isn't it? I mean,
go ahead.
To everybody listening out here, and I'm 3 years older than you, and everybody listening to you and listening to the government. But isn't everything about timing, though? I mean, if the Rufus Ewing government had won the election, don't you think they would also have done the same thing that you did during your tenure? Isn't everything more or less about timing?
It's not just timing, it's decisions made in that timing. For instance, persons who watch football, on a 4th and 1, 4th down, and you need 1 yard, you can either say, I'm going to go for it. The coach can say, I'm going to go for it, or I'm going to kick the field goal. So it's all about decisions being made in that time. Yeah, the time will present itself. But then you need to have a leader to say, we're going to do this or we're going to do that in a specific time. So even though you might say that if the Rufus Ewing administration was there, they would have done the same thing.
That's just
I beg to differ. Yeah, I beg to differ, because they can make the other decisions that we wouldn't have made. They might have said, no, we're not going to go through the arbitration now. Not saying that they would.
Well, I know that's working on that because my company, HLB, we had won the bid to do the reconciliations, and I know that was the next step for them to proceed.
Okay. Then the next step, yes, same way, but, a lot of things could have happened in making that decision and when to proceed.
Yeah. But, because I think both of you, to be fair, I think both political parties are not happy with the contract. I mean, I don't think anybody is happy with a contract with Intel Canada. Any government, I think, will want to try and see how they can get out of it. So I agree with you on that.
Yes, and but the thing is, some make it known and some do not make it known. I'm publicly saying this is some disagreement, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and I'm going to do all I can to get out of it, or walk around it.
Yes.
And one of the ways I was trying to work around it was to bring back all the community clinics.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, back down Dunkamele and Grand Turk, put all the clinics back in the community. 5 Keys need to have a community clinic.
I agree.
We talk about disease prevention, and that is the next thing that, again, differ me from this government. You might say that, if I was here now, I would be doing the same thing, but I would more focus on disease prevention,
And that is the key, Honorable.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. That is the key.
Yes.
We need to step in the prevention so
Yes.
it wouldn't get out of hand and out of control.
Early detection, early clinics, that you could go Tuesday, every Tuesday I could go to my clinic in 5 Keys and get my pressure checked, my pressure, my diabetes clinic, all these clinics at this date. Wednesday, these people coming in. Thursday, this next group of people coming in, and you need early detection, constant screening of our people. So
very, very good idea.
So
we need to educate the public as well, so they can come to the clinic.
Yes,
because you might have the clinic and nobody coming.
Yes,
we need to do a lot of public education so people can understand, the importance of these diseases, and so they could prevent themselves from getting it.
Yes.
Or even if they have it, they could try and
prevent. See how what they can do to manage it better. And
I like the community clinic.
Yes, and
I always felt the Myrtle Rimby Clinic should still remain open. I always felt that.
Yes. It was heartbreaking for me also, and even during my time, I was hoping that we can get it back, but with the courts just continuing to go on, we couldn't uproot them.
They spent so much money retrofitting it.
Yes, and I wanted to get that building back, and hopefully after the cases or so, it might be costly, but I do believe we need to put that clinic back there.
I think so too, Honorable.
Right next to the hospital. So there was a number of things that I had accomplished. Even here in my constituency, you'll see the parade grounds, the roads, the lights, all those things that normal government should do.
Yes.
The indoors facility that is being built in Grand Turk, that was on the books. We had some ideas with that, a lot of gentlemen. Yes, a lot of gentlemen who work with the youth department, again, had to put forward a lot of ideas, but it was never taken that far. So I took that and ran with it. The design is a little different. They keep on coming back. We got to change this, change that. And we finally got it out. During COVID-19. Even though we were distracted, we got the tender out. The tender was awarded, but construction never started until after elections.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that we, continue to do. And
right.
And what I have learned, Brother Seymour, is, there are ways of doing things, and I always believe that if you close the front door, maybe I can get in through a window. Maybe the back door can open, I can knock in this way. So,
other ways to get in.
Yes, this is what I learned during my time.
Even with the issues you had in cabinet with the prior governor, but that was not easy though.
No,
I'm not talking about Dakin.
It was very difficult because
that part is challenging. It seems to me it depends on
the personality. Yep,
personality, and it shouldn't be that way. You know what I mean?
No,
I think governors should work with elected government.
Yes, and even so, I don't know if I can get in trouble saying that how we used to sit on is everybody from TCIG and FCO on one side of the table, and all the elected ministers on the other side.
I remember the governor saying he changed the seating.
Yes,
I remember that.
Yes, and Dakin came in and changed the seating.
Yeah,
saying no,
like you versus us.
Yeah, take away that, because even the aesthetics of it, you could have seen that it was them versus us.
Yeah.
And we had this thing consensus. So if I wanted to say, okay, I want to spray down in 5 Keys for mosquitoes, and then in cabinet, others say no, we want to spray up Grace Bay. And I be saying, no, 5 Keys needed. These people are suffering every night. And they say, no, Grace Bay. It's going to be, okay, well, there's no consensus, so nothing, move on, which I think is wrong.
Yeah. Speaking about consensus, explain to the viewers what consensus means.
My understanding, brother.
I mean, based on your experience, actually, while you were in cabinet.
My understanding. Okay, based on my experience from cabinet, consensus means that everybody should be in agreement with it.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
But I don't think that's how it should be.
No. It shouldn't be like that. Because if our people in 5 Keys are screaming, mosquitoes biting them every night, and we want to go down there, it shouldn't be that because others have a different opinion in cabinet that we should be spraying somewhere up in, the Great Space Strip, and then because it's a different opinion, nothing happens. There's no consensus. And I saw that happen with projects also.
If one person disagree,
yes.
What happens?
Yes. And if one person disagree, it's no consensus. And
Wow.
I saw that.
I don't see how y'all can work with that. Yeah. I can't work like that. That's why I know politician. I can't work in an organization where everybody has to agree, because everybody's not going to agree.
Never.
I think the majority should win.
Yes, it should be. And that's why persons
And the majority should be the elected people.
Yes, because you're saying that, look here, this is what the people put me here to do. The people in Middle Caicos, they want this development. They want the Ritz-Carlton, or they want Margaritaville, whoever, And then the cabinet, no, we're not going to put nothing like that in North Middle Caicos. And you can be saying, well, but the people in Middle Caicos, this is what they tell me they want. We can go and have town hall meetings. You will see this is what they say they want. But
that's
because
what you probably promised them.
Yep. But if other people, no, we don't think that's right for Middle Caicos. We
so
want
how
it
do you
to
plan
remain
to
this.
change that if you become the premier in 2025?
That is where we're pushing for a lot of constitutional changes now. That members, southern members. Yes.
The constitutional changes will will allow the premier to be the president?
That is what I'm pushing for. That is what I'm pushing for.
You or both political parties?
I'm trying to get buy-in from the others, the premier. Most things, a lot of things we agree on, and certain things we do not agree on right away. I believe, Brother Seymour, I strongly believe that the Constitution that Bermuda have should be the rule instead of the exception for the overseas territories.
I agree.
Yeah, they're saying, okay, we're not going to give nobody else what Bermuda have, that full internal self-government, that kind of setup.
Unless we agree to
yes.
the date for independence.
Yes, the date for independence. And I believe that shouldn't be so. I mean, we're talking about decolonization and all that stuff and the rights of people, and the UK is big on that, but you're telling us that we cannot get what Bermuda have unless we set a date. What Bermuda have should be the norm. You should give that to all the overseas territories.
Mm-hmm. For the people who are listening, tell us what Bermuda has.
Yeah, Bermuda have what we always talk about, full internal self-government. Where the governor doesn't chair his cabinet. They pretty much make all their own decisions. It's almost like quasi-independence. It's almost like having independence without being independent. It's like if you're living in your parents' house, but you're in the backyard where you have access to the outside.
You can make your own decisions.
You make your own decisions, pay your own bills, doing everything. You can decide who come there, who sleep over, and everything, because you're in the guest house, but you're still on your parents' property. So you almost have the best of both worlds.
And
the
UK should know better, because that's probably one of the reasons why they even had the BRICS Act. We don't know. I'm just saying, they won't have their own way probably.
Exactly.
Brother Seymour, I agree with you. I keep on my friends from the UK. I say the same thing that Joel was fighting for during Brexit. That is similar to what we in the Turks and Caicos Islands and other overseas territories want.
And it's not like we're getting any financial, assistance or aid from the UK.
Not at all.
They have. I know they have the contingent liability and the guarantees, but for the past more than 20-some years or 30 years, we've been carrying our own load.
Our own load, and the thing is, we depend on them for security, and we all can say right now, and maybe the governor and her team will disagree with this, but when it comes to securing our borders, the one thing that they're supposed to be looking out for, we can see that they're not doing a good job at that.
Exactly.
So, and we as politicians, as local representatives, we need to step up to the plate and say, okay, you're not doing this. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it from now on. This is the forces that we need. This is the manpower. This is the equipment that we're going to get to lock down our borders, and try and prevent as much as we can from any boats breaking that barrier.
Yeah. They'll still come, but at least you could intercept them.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think you mentioned, or at least I saw a press statement somewhere where you say that'll be one of the first cabinet papers you will put to cabinet should you become the next government.
Yes.
The border committee? What was something that?
Yes, because we shouldn't be dancing around. And any administration that I'm a part of, I want us to get straight to work. Because certain things we have to do right away for our people and show that we mean business. Forget all the niceties and all that, your first, second cabinet just going through the motions. We need to hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. And that policy, in my last press conference, I gave out a lot. And some of my team was criticizing me, saying, Honorable, you're giving out all your stuff. Now they can take it and run with it. I was like, no, that's okay, because these things need to happen. There's more that I can add to it, that I want to add to it. But I have all this written down and documentation. Likewise, Brother Seymour.
I mean, at the end of the day, our focus should be on our country.
Yes.
And not political party or who ideas was. At the end of the day, the country should come first.
Yes.
And we need to work together.
Yes.
If you have an idea and the government of the day hears it and they like it, they should run with it.
Yes.
Of course, they can say, give you credit for it. But it shouldn't be about that. It should be about what is best for the country. How can we reduce these things from happening?
Yes.
So you did the right thing. You have the right approach.
Yes, because certain things like crime and the immigration issue, you have to put that out there because we want a country to govern. You don't want the country to be so much in disarray. So you want them to help them to do certain things now. And crime and the immigration situation cannot wait until a potential. I get there. Of course.
But crime is a situation that is very sensitive because I remember. You guys had campaigned on crime.
The 10-point plan.
No, you had a 12-point plan.
12-point plan.
And then, at the end of the day, your government said that crime is spiritual. And so we have to be very, very careful. I mean, both political parties, and I mentioned in my article, we shouldn't campaign on crime.
No.
Because of the causes of crime. There's so many factors. We have these social factors.
Yes.
We have people in this country coming illegally. We have people who are unemployed. We got people who don't have a job, don't have status. And because they're so desperate for money, they're doing anything that involves committing crime. And that's something, even though the government can have policies in place, but that's something is beyond your control.
Yes, and so my approach, because again, I was a part of a government who had a 12-point plan, and a lot of those points we accomplished with equipment, manpower. A lot of those things we can take off and say we accomplished, and crime is still there. So you have to go back
still there
to the drawing board and say, well, we have to get to the roots. And the main thing is when you get to the root of the crime, it's going to take a longer time.
It will.
And that is where I want to focus on a lot of the attention.
Process.
The root, the social, economical, the social background of these individuals, preventing them, because once they pick up a gun, it's too late. So we got to prevent them from ever reaching a point where they want to pick up a gun, or persons who want to do things dishonest. Because as much as there are the violent crime, there's a lot of white-collar crime that takes place in the Turks and Caicos Islands too. So we need to get to the bottom of all that. We have people in offices committing crime all day and every day. People stealing. They're not holding up someone and stealing, but they're stealing from people's accounts or stealing from what people should be getting to them. So, we have to get at the root of the crime. So all the social background of these young men, single parent, poverty. So I want to focus on those grassroots issues. Yes, we're going to put all the things in place to deal with what is happening now in response to what is happening now, but we have to go in deeper, and that is where I want to put a lot of my focus on the youth and stopping them from
social and the youth people.
Yes,
okay.
And stopping from
all you
people.
can do, Honorable, is try.
Yes,
because I know in the Bahamas there's the same situation. All the cities in America, it's like it's a global crisis happening with crime.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, but I think we're small enough. And we know,
set an example.
Yeah, and we know our community good enough that we can say, hey, look.
I know we know our community good enough.
Yeah.
We don't know who's who in this place anymore.
Yeah, but we can say, we have neighbors who can say, those two children over there didn't go to school. I haven't seen them going to school. Or the teachers can say, well, we haven't seen Johnny and Susie in school for the last 2 weeks. They come to school, but they're not attending the classes. Parents, neighbors can say, well, these kids be out all day, all night. Something's wrong. They're only 10 years old, and 2 o'clock in the night when I was coming home, I saw them outside. So you need to get into communities, and that's what I'm saying. We're small enough where we can do that. We may not know the persons, but we know these kids outside all night, or hanging around with this crew, or hanging these guys, these young guys, just sitting down on the wall. They need something to do. So we got to go and find out what you all want to do, which kind of employment, why you all so idle. We know the devil finds work for idle hands. So that's what I'm saying. We are small enough where we can get in our communities and deal with these issues at the grassroots level.
Good. I mean, we definitely have to attack the root cause issue. Because, I mean, I interviewed this former criminal, and he had an opportunity to work, but he said work was not an option. They didn't want to work.
Yes.
They didn't want to work. They were interested in just stealing from people. They're not interested.
Yes. So you see, those kind of persons, you need all the help, all the interventions. So when you get people like that, you would get them, you offer them the work, but you'll also give them other mental health. They have to go farther with those persons. So you can't just go and approach them and offer them a job. You need to give them counseling or so. And you got to know how to counsel those persons. You can't use the same traditional way that you'll come and bring you or I into the office and tell us lay down on the sofa.
Well, they do have a department of rehabilitation. I think they're doing a great job. I see that.
Yes.
Of course, they're small and stuff, but they're trying. They're trying.
Yes, and we have people. We have Turks and Caicos Islanders who specialize in this.
Yeah.
I know of Earl Fulford, Mr. Earl Fulford. He works in the United States now, doing the same thing, counseling people who crime, depressed, and all that. And we have people out there in the world who's doing these things. And everyone know Earl Fulford, the former social welfare youth department. He's in the States doing that. And he have written programs and stuff how to deal with these troubled youth, how to counsel them. And we need to get those people back here in the Turks and Caicos Islands and let them work here, because they cannot provide their talents here. We don't give them the opportunity here. And they went to the States, and the United States accept them right away. What? Turks and Caicos Islands could afford to throw away this type of resource? Come on, come here and work for us. But we have to bring those people back in so we can deal with these issues. We have professional.
I mean, it can be a hard sell. I mean, some people went to U.S. and they don't want to. That's a choice some people made. It'd be nice to have them back, but some people, I'm very patriotic to Turks and Caicos. I'm not going to leave the Turks and Caicos Islands. But let's continue.
Yes, but
you are the leader of the opposition.
Before you say that, just one thing to say. And while we're talking on crime, not taking away from the crime, I'm going to use a crime term, that fictional crime term from, I think, Al Capone or Scarface. They always say you have to make them an offer they can't refuse. So if we want our people to come back, you make them a very good offer that they can't refuse. And that's how we get them back.
Okay.
Yes.
So you mentioned what you did, under your ministerial, as Minister of Health. Now you're the leader. And you're asking people to vote for you.
Yes.
You were rejected. Your party was rejected at the polls.
Yes.
Why should we elect you and your party again, since we already experienced part of you, 2016 to 2020, people rejected your party. Why should we give you another chance in 2025?
Yes, as we all know, that the party is made up of individuals. The individuals have different visions and roadmaps of doing things. You have to bring a different vision. And once you lose, or so just like any sports team, once you lose, you see what are your weaknesses and you improve on them and you bring in the talent that is needed to get you to where you want to be. And that is what we're doing. Whatever changes, we made the changes. This is not the party of 2016. even the individuals. My whole mindset, my whole thinking has changed. You know, we live and we learn, and we have done that. And nobody can, we brought you through the 2 hurricanes, so we did a good job at that. We brought you through COVID-19, so we did a good job at that. You know, so it wasn't all a failure, you know, but for some reason
but people say you didn't do they didn't do anything for the average, citizen. When you all did the what was it? The stipend?
The stimulus?
The stimulus, it was for the hospitality industry. Y'all didn't do like what this government did where they give it to the citizens.
Well, there's 2 parts to that story. And as you know, a lot of citizens did get stimulus. People did get stimulus from us, not at that level. And the money was there. And one part of the story is that if we had given that out just before elections, it would have be seen as we're trying to bribe people to vote for us. But they met the $19 million sitting up there ready to give out. But it was in circles thought that if you have given that out, that it would have been look like you're bribing just before elections. Now, there were some thoughts that say, you know, regardless, the people need it, give it out now. And there was other thoughts, well, you can't because it's going to look like you're bribing. Win the election and give the people the stimulus. The government didn't come in and went and find the money to give out. That money was sitting up for the people.
Yeah, it wasn't used. The money was used.
No, of course, and that's what I'm saying. It was 2 reasons why, you know, it was one train of thought which say give it out as soon as possible, give it out right away. So you had some person saying that, and you have some person saying, well, you have to wait until after elections. And, you know, the decision was made, you know, whether all agree or didn't agree with it, to do it after elections. Now it cost us, and you have to learn from your mistakes.
Right.
But you know, that is what cost us. So during the COVID-19, running of the COVID-19 crisis, pandemic, when the whole world was failing and we were succeeding, when places like Cayman just closed down their borders and didn't try to figure it out, we figured it out. So that is a government performance. When the whole Caribbean, around the Caribbean was destroyed by Irma Maria, we opened up real quick. We got the cruise ship open, and people were studying Turks and Caicos. How we open up so fast? What did we do? We were the model. So you can't say that the government was a failure. We dropped the ball on like a relay. You leading straight through, and at the last baton change, you mess up or you run out your lane. And you get disqualified. And we got disqualified for running out of our lane, not doing what the people really wanted us to do, give out the stimulus during just before elections. And we got disqualified and we lost the elections. But the government itself was performing.
I see.
Yes.
But let me rephrase the question a different way. Why should we elect your government? Because this government can say, well, I expended, I ain't no government. This government can say they expended the categories at the Invest TCI.
Yes,
they increased the grants.
We did.
This government can say that they gave already 3 stimulus.
Yes.
This government can say that they write off the Tulco $10 million. Mm-hmm. This government can say that they are working on revising the immigration bill that their party put in power in 2015, which I felt was always too generous. You guys came in power, didn't make much changes to that immigration ordinance. Now they're back, and they're making changes. They're working on the airport project. They're working on the housing project. I saw in one of the newspapers 4 weeks ago that they plan to the pension is going to be based on 3 terms. So with this stuff, why should we vote this government out and put you in when they're doing some of these things?
Yes, okay. I was trying to make a note of everything that you said there.
Right. And by the way, don't take this anywhere. Yes. I'm on the radio. I'm trying to be objective and
it's for
trying
debate.
To ask questions that people want to know.
And it's for debate. You know, I know that, Brother Seymour, it's for the debate. Yes. First of all, Brother Seymour, I think that they're doing the right thing for all the wrong reasons, and they're doing it the wrong way. They're doing the right thing, doing it the wrong way, and for all the wrong reasons.
the airport where they just want to hand it over to a private company or so, PPP, and the private company have all the power, all the revenue, all the powers for
management.
some 30, 40 years going into the future. We believe that is wrong. So they're doing the thing. Yeah, they're doing the airport.
So you wouldn't do PPP?
And if you do a PPP, it have to be in the people's benefit.
Yeah. I do think 30 years is too long.
Yeah.
I do think 30 years.
It have to be where the people benefit. It's not a problem with having a partner, but it have to be where the people benefit. We see with the hospital deal, we see the people is not benefiting, and you see how long we are tied to this hospital deal. So this current government have a history of doing bad deals for the Turks and Caicos Islands. Mm-hmm. So the airport deal is not. We agree with it have to be done, but we disagree with how they're doing it. So they're doing.
You'd have gotten a loan. You want to do PPP?
It will be a combination. What I'll say, it will be a combination to get all the monies that no one party have dominance over the government.
No one have control.
Yes, no one have control.
And you'd have opened it up where locals could get shares too.
It's a must. It's a must. Okay. Whether they want it or not, we know we may not generate the whole. Money that we need from the local market, but you have to give them a chance to get in there and make money off this cash cow, because we know we're going to make money off the airport. So if somebody want to put in $500, you put in $500, you know. So that is one of the things.
But then your party also did that at one point where the airport was outsourced to a company previously, and then when Mike Misley came in power, he bought it back.
Okay, well, that's probably some time when I was in school, still in college, doing my master's. So I'll have to research that one.
Yeah, it was
talk
managed
about that.
And owned by, yeah.
Yes, but I want to be beaten with my own stick.
I think the government paid $30 million to take it back.
Yes, because if I start beating this current PNP administration with all the former PNP administration sticks, they'll be getting a lot of beatings. So beat me with my own stick. So I don't know.
So just compare with the previous.
Yes.
Your 2016, you're saying?
Yes, 16, and what I'm saying now, you know. Also, the airport, the housing policy, they made a mockery of it. It's not targeting what it should be targeting. Mm-hmm. You know, even with the investment part, you see they have it open up to foreign companies. So if you want to come in, you need a TI partner, whatever, to do the housing. And you have to be able to do 5 units or more in order to get the concessions
for long-term, for apartments.
Yes, and so again, how much of our people can say right now, tomorrow they're going to do 5 units or more? You know.
I don't agree with that one.
Yes.
I do think it should be. Yeah. And I wrote an article on it. I do think that the apartments, once they have the property, and the bank will be able to help them.
Yes.
But I do think it should be reserved for Turks and Caicos Islanders only.
Yes. So
for the apartments with the 5 units or more.
Yeah. So you see, they can brag about the housing policy and stuff, but it's going the wrong way. It isn't touching our people. A single parent who's working for government making $2,500, $3,000. Where's that for them? You know. A married couple who living in apartments, you know, can't find a place to live. Where's the housing policy? So, you know, it isn't touching. It isn't touching what it should be touching. Yeah, it looks nice. And I have to say, during my time, I do a lot of research on the UK housing policy, on Jamaica housing policies, and the place Singapore. You know, their social housing and stuff. So I have all this downloaded.
Nice.
I have all this downloaded on my computer to compare and contrast all these different housing policies from around the world, countries similar and bigger, and our mother country, the UK, what they're doing. And our housing policy is a joke. It is a joke, and that is something that I want our government to be known on. The PDM government will be the PDM government of housing. You know, we will put people in houses. This isn't putting their policy isn't putting people in houses.
So what if you were in power, what would you have done? You would have built the homes on the government land, and then, like what the Bahamas does?
You have to look at that. That need to be one of them, and that is one of them I have in my manifesto. So, you know, which my people is going to say, Honorable, you're always giving out everything, but you have to build the homes, and you need to have different criteria, different types of homes for different. I
do like the duty exemption though, with the 5 units or more.
Yes, but I think it should be
reserved.
But it shouldn't only. It should not be my government would not limit it to 5 units. If a Turks and Caicos Islander want to do a unit, want to do something in their home and their yard, just put up a nice unit there. Why can't they get to the exemptions? And a lot of our people could afford to put up one unit, 1 or 2 units on their property.
So you say there should be no minimum?
No minimum. If you're a Turks and Caicos Islander and you want to increase the housing market, put up units, you should get this. Why should it be limited to foreigners, foreign companies coming in with millions of dollars?
No, it's not limited. It's open.
I mean, why should it be open to foreign companies coming in with millions of dollars? But what about our people? Anybody making a good salary.
I'm on the same page with that one.
Yeah, anybody making a good salary could put up a unit in the yard. So why can't they get those exemptions? That's what I'm saying. And that is the difference between us and them. They do a lot of the things, but they do it the wrong way and for the wrong reasons. Something else you mentioned, the airport.
You talked about that already.
The housing, you said
we
the
talked
airport.
about the expansion of the grants and
yes, we did.
And I know you had called in one day and you said if you were in power, your minimum would be $100,000.
Yes.
You still think you still would do that?
Yes,
even though the budget.
No, well,
so you'll have to increase your budget because the budget is rated $700,000 a year.
Yes.
It used to be $1 million, but now it's $700,000.
You will have to increase that. You have to increase that. $20,000. You cannot get a company started. You have all the checks and balances.
Well, the government doesn't have to do everything, the Honorable. It's not the government shouldn't have to be doing everything for you.
The government
will provide assistance to start up for you to give you. We have to take responsibility as well. And doing the part for ourselves as well.
Yes, sir. People will have to take responsibility, but at least give them something that they can have something to take responsibility for.
I had Invest ECI on the show, and they have increased the amounts depending on the business type. You got the micro, the small. They can even get up to $150,000 depending on the category of your business as well. So they have increased the amounts.
Again, like I said, is doing it the wrong way and for the wrong reasons, and they're doing it the wrong way, and I have to go farther, and you need to have the checks and balances in place. And like I say, before I speak, I will look at it and see, well, what is the UK doing in terms of small business? Which kind of grants they give their people? What is Jamaica doing? What is Bahamas doing? What is Singapore doing? What is the Maldives doing? So I go and research these before I go and talk and say, well, what we're doing here in Turks and Caicos Islands? Man, this is a joke to what other countries are doing for their people. So
the Bahamas has something similar?
Yes, sir. They have their small business unit, and we can. It's easy to research. It's very easy.
And they're giving out
much
more grants,
more than what we are giving out. The UK giving out more than what we're giving out. All these countries.
Well, you have to also compare the budget size as well. I mean, the population, the budget.
Yes.
You also have to do that. You can't just look at the numbers by itself, too. Of course, you know that.
Yes. So if we look at $425 million to spread for how much belongers we have here? 15,000. Yeah. So you look at it how you can spread it. If you do the math, you see we should be doing more for our people. If you do Turks and Caicos Islanders versus the budget, Bahamians versus their budget, Americans versus their budget, the amount of Americans versus their budget, you can see that there's a lot of room here for Turks and Caicos Islands to do more per citizen.
I see.
Yes, and so those things you have to increase. There was the next one you mentioned that you say the government can say they're doing. Okay, the telco. Yeah, you mentioned the telco loans. They're writing off. Okay, what we did, the former administration that I was a part of, we bought back the telco loans from the company and put it back in the government hands.
Yes.
And then in 2020, we wrote off $8.15 million of the interest. Mm-hmm. Yes. So we did a lot for them. 8.15.
So why y'all didn't write everything off like how they did this?
Well, you need the case. You cannot just say, okay, we're going to write off and the persons now you don't have to pay. You said it yourself that people need to have a skin in the game, and you need to have evidence to say, even though we write off these loans, now evidence show that certain people still cannot pay. Yeah. So now you can justify writing off the people's money because
so
remember,
you support the right. I didn't listen to the House of Assembly. Did all of y'all support the bill?
Yes, all of us support the bill.
Okay.
But there's a caveat here, right? During our time when we did it, we needed the evidence to show that with the write-off, now people can't pay because we're forgoing the people's money. Your money, my money, our children's money,
of course,
our people.
Of course.
So it is the people's we're writing off and saying we're not going to collect the people's money. Mm-hmm. So before we do that, we had to come back to the people and say, look here, these persons couldn't pay their bills, still cannot pay their mortgage, so it doesn't make sense we going forward. But we needed the evidence. We knew they could, so we write off the interest for us in 2020. Yeah. So we needed the evidence.
And this government wrote off interest as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And 2023, they wrote off interest early this year of $1,866,000. They wrote off that in 2023. Mm-hmm. And now they have the body of work, and they probably feel that the persons cannot pay. But the thing is, we want to know, okay, is it that all these people cannot pay? Nobody have any problem writing off for the widow, the old lady who cannot pay, who's no longer working, the retired gentleman who's not working and only get $1,000 a month. Well, we know they cannot pay. But we want to make sure that we are targeting the people that need to be targeted and not people owning businesses or so, and we're writing off their debt, people who are making money, who are currently making money.
So you would have had a criteria saying they must be making a certain salary if you're right. That's how you would have done it?
Because it's the people's money.
Rather than writing everything off?
Yes, you should, because it shouldn't be for businesses.
But you agreed to write everything off in the House, though?
Yes, I agree with it, because we couldn't fight it. So, okay, I agree with going forward. But then let the people know what is being written off. And the government, it's their responsibility to come and say, well, we're just writing off for these people, the civil servants, the people who are on retirement, but people who have businesses and their businesses are still making money, or people who have apartments and they're making money, or so you're making money, you can pay the people back their money. So we don't know if we can write off the principal for you or so. So it should be some analysis of it, but nobody is against those widows, those elderly people, civil servants who struggle.
Sometimes I understand what you're saying, but sometimes we make a lot of assumptions because I have apartments, because I'm the CEO, that I could afford some things. And sometimes it's not that case. When I became the CEO, I end up having more bills. I end up having more. Some of us are still living from paycheck. So we cannot make those assumptions sometimes. So so not because even some people who are widows, they might be in a better position than I am in. They might not have any mortgage. So we have to be also careful how we. I hear what you're saying.
And that's why you need to.
But it seems to me like the government thought it was easier that they write everybody off rather than saying you have to be making a certain income, because it looks like it was not being paid. Looks like it was not going down.
Yeah, but if it's one thing to not pay, and then the next thing that you cannot pay. And that's what they should have done and look at, people who really and truly struggling to pay, struggling to make ends meet. By the time they pay, that's all their salary gone, their quality of life. So it only takes a couple of minutes. And it's not like the minister or the premier have to go and do that themselves. They have a whole department, a whole ministry to get this information to them. So there's no excuse of not presenting that information, to the House.
Well, they should have the information.
Yes.
Because they had to have the information to know the amount that they're writing off.
Yes.
And they should have.
And the type of business, whether it's a business or whether it's someone's personal home or so.
Or
so you have to
loan or something.
Yes. So you have to know how you're using the people's money. You cannot just say, okay, we're going to write off how is this and the best benefit of our people. And you're going to see it. And the thing is, many people in the Turks and Caicos Islands are struggling with mortgage now. And
a lot of people are.
What help are you
I
giving
am
them?
too, because my rate went up significantly.
Yes.
I ended up going back to the bank, and I was able to get them moved from variable to fixed for me, because it went up by more than $2,000 a month.
Yes. And so what are we doing for those people? And the premier came back, oh, well, we can't pay people mortgage. No, we're not saying you have to pay people mortgage, but it should be something to assist. And again, if you go on the UK page or so, you'll see how they do to assist people with mortgage. It's very clear.
It sounds like you will plan. It sounds to me, if you were in power, are you saying you're going to assist people with their mortgage payments?
What? No, I didn't say assist people with their mortgage payments. We'll give them something, some kind of benefit that will help them, So, and with that. Because if we're doing now, we're setting precedent that This 176 people, they had help with the interest, and now
But
we're
that's within
writing
the
off.
government's control.
Yes.
Because the government, you guys bought it back.
But you have all other people who vote for you too. So you're saying, yes, while we're doing this one for this son, we have to do this for the next son. You know, we have to do this. We cannot just say we're doing this for this one.
Any government power, you have to be very, very careful. Yeah. I don't think you guys have to be very, very careful as a government not giving everything for free because it's a cost.
Yes.
Either you can have to increase some sort of taxes because eventually you're going to have to try recover the revenue if you keep giving everything for free.
No, again, you can give them benefits. It's not giving everything for free, but as citizens of the country, there are certain benefits that you can get. And if you look at other citizens of other country, they're getting these benefits and these options, and we're not giving it to our people. So
why you didn't do these things when you were the minister?
Because I'm Minister of Health, that didn't come under my portfolio. I can have a good idea.
You're part of the cabinet.
Yes.
You're part of the cabinet. Yes. You're part of the executive.
And like I said, when we start, part of cabinet, I need to get some 12 or 14 other people to agree with me. And we know when we talk about consensus and everything,
everybody has to agree.
Everybody has to agree to do it at that specific time.
Let's talk about dialysis before our time is in. Because I saw on one PDM link where y'all say the government can't. They can pay for Christmas parties, but they can't pay for dialysis. I saw that on the PDM on Facebook.
Yes, okay.
Explain that to me. I'm on dialysis. I want to hear your point of view.
A few weeks ago, you heard a lot of people where they were showing that now the TCIG and IHC is in dispute about giving snacks and stuff to the dialysis patients, you know, and the TCIG questioning whether it should be a part of the bill that IHC is included, and there's a dispute, and IHC getting upset and saying, well, we're not going to give them any food anymore. You know, that is how it was out in the public domain. You being inside, you might have to hook up where you get all your food and stuff. So, you know, this is what was in the public domain. So what we're saying that it should never come to this. It should have never come to this. You have to find the money. You know, if this is an extra course, you just ensure that, yes, they are giving the people the food and this is what we're going to pay. It shouldn't be no issue. You know, it should be straight up, okay? People need food and the people need their snacks. If you're saying this is what it is, and if we can verify it, then we will pay for it.
Well, I mean, first of all, we got a letter. I want you to hear me. We got a letter signed by the CEO saying that the government has advised, more or less, that the grits and fish in the sandwiches, whatever we got, that's what we're getting, were due to arbitration, that it's not clinical costs. And be honest with you, it's not clinical costs. But meals that we got are not part of clinical costs. If you spend the night in the hospital, that's clinical costs. And so they decided that the government at that time even though the government said they were not aware of the letter that they issued to us, somebody had to tell Intel Canada that, which I find very, very surprising. Somebody had to tell Intel Canada that they will discontinue that. I don't think Intel Canada is just going to stop without something from the government, but the government said they were not aware. And so I see a lot of people on social media talking about it. I mean, some people don't eat the food. Some people eat it, like me, because they give it to me. But it's not part of clinical costs. And it started many years ago, apparently, when there was no dialysis center in Provo. And people were going to Grand Turk. And so the government was feeding them. And then when they opened the dialysis center in Provo, they continue. Now, the minister has done a press conference saying that they will provide some sort of stipend to the patients. Now, a lot of people say, well, Drexel, you don't need it. To me personally, it doesn't matter to me. And a lot of the patients that is on my shift, it's not an issue to them. The public who's not on dialysis seems to make it an issue. And to me, it looks like it's also political.
No, I don't think it's political. It's more social. We just have to give our opinion on it. but it's nothing generated from us. These are social issues that reach to us. And we, as the opposition and as a political party, we must give our opinion on things that is happening in the country.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, unlike the government, they seems to not want to give an opinion on anything. But we have to give an opinion and our take on things, on issues, whether people agree or disagree with us. And not because people are okay with not getting their food or so means that it's all right. There's a lot of things that we accept, but it doesn't make it right.
Do you think the meals are considered clinical costs?
If you can feed patients in the hospital, and you consider that part of clinical costs, I would accept that you can do the same thing for the dialysis patients who have to be there, 10 hours or so. And I look at it as
4 hours.
4 hours.
Some people do 3, some people do 3.5, but most people do 4.
So you do 4 hours, you're in and out the whole procedure.
Yeah, the average is 4 hours.
Yes.
Some people do 3, most people are there for 4 hours.
Okay.
3 times a week.
And does that pass across the lunch or the supper time or so?
Whatever shift you're on, you were getting fat.
Okay.
If you go on the morning shift, you get breakfast. If you go on the 11 o'clock shift, you get your lunch, your chicken. You go on the evening shift, you get your chicken and rice.
Yes. And what is I don't see why that should be discontinued.
But I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. We eat it because they give it to us. But international standards do not even just suggest that dialysis patients not even be eating heavy meals during dialysis. If you speak to any of our nurses that are there on the shift from the different countries, Philippines, Jamaica, they've never seen where patients come in and are getting feed like how we got fed here.
Yes, well, there you go, Brother Seymour. I mean, it is a non-issue. If the patients and medical staff saying, well, you all shouldn't eat this type of food, then just change the food. But what we're saying, whatever it is, we will make sure the patients are not at a disadvantage. Even if it's just fruits, let the patients have their fruits. That is what we're saying. Whatever it is.
We'll bring our own stuff. We'll bring our own things.
Because
we have to eat on Tuesday. I go Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So I have to find my breakfast Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So I'll eat my own stuff.
Yes. It's just like the patient at the hospital saying, look here, my wife cooks every day so she can bring my food. Yes,
if you spend the night in the hospital, that's a different scenario.
Yes, I'm just using it to simplify the example. But even though you can bring your own stuff, if you're at the dialysis, if you need some fruits, give the people the fruits, and they shouldn't have to pay for that. It shouldn't be a non-issue. That's what I'm saying. It's much to do about nothing. Whatever it is, whether it's a heavy meal,
but the arbitration that you say you started, they're the ones that advise the government. Wait a minute, y'all shouldn't be paying this.
Yes, they can advise. The keyword there. You see, again, I always tell you is what decisions people make.
Yeah.
Keyword is they shouldn't be paying this. If I was Minister of Health, I would say, we shouldn't be paying this, but we are going to pay it. I hear your advice that we shouldn't be paying this for our people on dialysis, but guess what? We are going to pay it for our people on dialysis. Thank you for your advice, but we're going to continue this.
You don't have to accept everything they tell you.
Yes, whether Brother Seymour want a big meal or just some fruits, whatever he want, we're going to pay for him to have it. Whatever the clinicians feel that the dialysis patients need, we're going to pay for them to have it. We want you all to be comfortable. They're not sitting down, I wonder which meal, or I have to prepare meals for when I go in today. No, we want you all to be comfortable. You all are under enough stress as it is. This is one thing you don't have to worry about.
So when, did any of you contacted any dialysis patients to hear their feedback?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, we did.
In Provo or Grand Turk?
In Providenciales, and some from
we
How
got come y'all didn't call me?
We got persons directly and indirectly.
Oh, okay.
Because some people may not want to speak to me directly, but they will get the message to me.
I see.
Yes, so nobody can say, oh, you tell the opposition. No, I didn't tell the opposition. I was talking to my friend.
But you have a right. People have a right. They don't have to be concerned, even if their names are called. People have a right to express. But I know how it is.
People are still fearful in this climate. They do feel like the government will be vindictive towards them. A lot of people still feel that way.
I know some people feel that way. I know some people do feel that way, but they shouldn't have to feel that way.
Yes,
they have a right.
Even civil servants are afraid to identify with a political party. Which is their constitutional right.
They probably shouldn't identify a political party.
But it is their constitutional rights to identify. But I still have to do my job. So what if people know I'm a PDM? I mean, all my life, all working, everybody know who I am. I could have gone to former ministers of health that were PNP, and they know who I am. I didn't mind. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do my job. I was inside the lab. The Honorable Karen DeLance was my minister at the time. She could have called me anytime. She know who I am, but she could have called me anytime, and I would perform for her. She was my minister. So we got to go away from, I got to hide which party I support, because I'm going to be victimized, or they might think this or that. No. Honorable Karen, I support the PDM party. I'm going down with the ship. What do you need? Anything you need me to do, I will do for you. It's part of my duty. Once it's in my duties, I will do it for you. You're a PNP minister. I am a PDM supporter. This is my job. I am a professional. What do you need from me, Honorable Minister? Honorable Minister, this is how I can advise you. Anything I can do to make your job better, I will do it. But you know who I am. So
I mean, that's how it should be. But when you speak to ministers of both PNP and PDM party, they did have issues with some of the civil servants who were supporters of the party opposite to the government in power. They did have issues.
Yes.
It's an individual thing, obviously.
It is.
There are issues where people and it's unfortunate that a lot of people put party first.
Yes.
Instead of country.
Yes, you have to put your country first and your people.
Not everybody's like you, Honorable Taylor.
Yes.
Honorable Astwood.
Yes, you have to put your country and your people first. And that is why I try to advise the government as much as possible right now, because my whole thing, Brother Seymour, is I want them to get these policies in place so I can build on it. I don't want to have to go through the work of just doing it, because a lot of things I need to do right away.
Yeah.
So if I don't have to go and dig the foundation, and so it'll be even better for me. I can just start building and let the people benefit, because the foundation is already dug. So I'm trying to help them to get a lot of these things in place so I can go and really build a building where the people can benefit. So do all this legal work. Let's pass the bill. Let's get it done, because where I want to take our people in our country, I want these things in place if and when I get there.
Yeah, got it.
Yes.
Well, our time is up, Honorable. It's such a pleasure. I always, enjoy, having you on the show. And I also like your attitude and your personality. You don't take things personal. As basically my interaction with you really open to constructive criticism, and I really admire that about you as a leader, and just continue to have that type of personality, because if you become the government, I'll continue to write my articles, and I will continue to constructively criticize you.
Yes, and that's what I want you to do, because that is the only way we get better. You need to hear a different opinion, and what am I doing wrong? So let me see. Brother Seymour say, I didn't do this right. So maybe there's something there. He won't be saying it unless there's something there. Let me re-examine myself or my performance on this issue and see what is there that he is seeing, from his point of view, and try to correct it and try to see where we go from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you have any, and before we have any closing remarks, are you going to be running at large, or are you going to be running in your constituency?
I'm still in the constituency right now, and I am open to running wherever my party need me. I am a team player. If my party wants me to stay in the constituency, I will stay there. If my party wants me to run at large, I will run at large.
I mean, if you're the leader, I would think you probably would run at large.
Well, that is 6 of one and half a dozen of the next.
I see.
We see in all other countries, the premier of the Bahamas, his constituency is Cat Island.
Yeah, but they don't have at large.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, and they're doing okay. The leader of the opposition from the Bahamas, he's in Grand Bahama. We know the premier of Jamaica, we know his constituency. So it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the next.
Yeah, but our system is so, I think BVI is the only other place that have the at-large.
And
everybody else is 1-to-1.
Yes,
and
we let the British tell us these things.
So you would change that, right? That would be part of the constitutional change for you? You wouldn't have at-large?
No, if the people want it, we'll give the people what they want. If the people like this at-large system,
I like the at-large.
We'll continue with it. But they make you think that the leader have to be at-large, and they try to dilute the local influence. Okay, if we get the leader must be at large, then this one can get in. It doesn't have to be a Turks and Caicos Islander. It give a chance for other people to get in. So we got to look at the motives behind a lot of things that was done in 2010 and 11. I'm not saying it's right, but this is how I think about it. And we should not be fooled by systems that were put in place to dilute the influence of the local population of the indigenous Turks and Caicos Islanders.
Okay. All right. Is that your closing remarks, Honorable?
No. Well, I mean, I want persons.
Go ahead.
Yes. I want persons to know that, I am here for them. The PDM is here. Our aim is to really improve the lives of our people in our country, to really get them on that right footing, that we can be one of the best countries in the Caribbean. And I truly want to do this. This isn't just political talk. This is my mission. I feel this is my mission, to take the country really to that high level where our people are successful, our people are happy. Businesses are owned by local people. Jobs, everybody who want a job is on a job. We have continual learning from 8 to 80. Everybody who wanted from cradle to grave learning, I should say. Anybody who want to learn can learn. We have qualified people in all areas, not just academics here. So I really want to transform the country. I really want to protect our borders, deal with the root issues of crime, stop all these boats from reaching our shores. I want to do all those things, but we have to hit the ground running. And I am ready and making myself prepared to hit the ground running to deal with all these issues and deal with them right away for our people. Not for my glory, but for the glory of God and for the benefit of our people in our country.
All right, Honorable. I wish you the best as you seek to become the next premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands. I sincerely wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
And have me back on. Anytime.
Of
all you got
course,
to do is tell me the date.
Of course, I can have you back
I'll
on.
be back.
You know what I want, Honorable?
Yes.
I want to have you and the premier on together.
Yes. And I must tell people, there's no hatred between myself and the premier. We really get on real good, and it's no problem if he would.
I don't think people think that.
Yes. There's no hatred or no disrespect there. So, but I have to do my job, and I have to touch him up when I feel he's not performing.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, and I look forward to being back on this show, and look forward to more discussions with you and informing our people.
Absolutely. Well, you've been listening to Financially Speaking. I'm Drexwell Seymour, and I had the leader of the opposition and the PDM party, Honorable Edwin Astwood, who is hoping to become the next premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Thank you for listening to Financially Speaking. We'll be here next Tuesday, same time, 11 a.m. on RTC, the #1 radio station in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Thank you. RTC,